Her pack left her as bait for the enemy Alpha, but he marked her instead of killing her. The night sky was heavy with dark clouds, as if the moon itself was hiding from the cruel world below. Cold wind moved through the tall black pine trees of the northern border forest. The air smelled of snow, blood, and old magic that had been forgotten by most kingdoms. Lyra walked slowly through the forest path, her boots making soft sounds on frozen leaves. Her heart was beating fast, not because of fear alone, but because of the truth she already understood deep inside her soul. She had been betrayed. Lyra was a young wolf shifter from a small mountain pack called the Silver Hollow Pack. Her pack was weak compared to the northern wolf kingdom that ruled vast lands with iron power and ancient magic. For years, her pack had tried to survive by avoiding war. They paid tribute to stronger packs. They followed rules. They kept peace even when peace felt like silent suffering. Lyra was different from others in her pack. She had moon-born magic. Her magic was rare. Some elders believed she was touched by ancient spirits. Others believed she was cursed. When Lyra felt strong emotions, her magic reacted. When she felt sadness, soft silver wind would move around her. When she felt anger, storms would gather in distant skies. She could feel emotions in the wind like whispers from living nature itself. But her power was unstable. During battles or emotional stress, her magic sometimes became too strong to control. Because of this, her own pack treated her with kindness mixed with fear. And now, they had decided she was useful as sacrifice. 3 days ago, pack elders had called her to the stone hall. The hall was built from dark mountain stone, decorated with old wolf symbols and war scars from past wars. Elder Thane, the pack leader, had spoken in a calm but cold voice. "The Northern Alpha is planning to invade," he had said. "If war begins, our pack will be destroyed." Lyra had felt fear growing in her chest. "What does that have to do with me?" Elder Thane had looked at her with tired eyes, not angry, not guilty, just tired. "You will go to the border forest, alone. You will act like you want peace talks." Lyra had nodded slowly. "And if he attacks me?" Thane had stayed silent for a long time before speaking again. "If he attacks you, the war will stop," he said. "The Northern Alpha is not known for mercy. He is known for swift, clean justice." Lyra understood what he was not saying. They wanted her to die. Sending her as peace messenger was just an excuse. If the enemy Alpha killed her, her pack could claim they tried diplomacy. If she died, the northern forces would have less reason to attack immediately. Lyra did not cry when she heard this. She only felt cold, because she had always known her pack loved survival more than they loved her. Now she was walking alone toward the enemy territory. The deeper she went into the forest, the colder the magic became. Old ruins appeared between trees, broken statues of forgotten kings, shattered wolf monuments, and stone pillars covered in dark ancient symbols. Lyra could feel powerful magic watching her. Not friendly magic, hungry magic. She stopped walking when she reached a wide clearing. The clearing was surrounded by black stone ruins shaped like broken crowns. In the center of the clearing, snow was falling slowly even though there were no clouds directly above. The snow did not melt when it touched the ground. Instead, it turned into dark silver dust. She knew this was the meeting place, and she knew he was watching her. Lyra straightened her back. Even if she was going to die, she wanted to die without showing weakness. "My name is Lyra of Silver Hollow," she said loudly. Her voice echoed in the ruins. "I came to speak about peace." For a long moment there was only wind. Then she felt it. Power. Heavy, ancient, terrifying power that made her magic tremble inside her chest. Her wind magic reacted immediately, forming soft silver light around her fingers. From the darkness between two broken stone pillars, a figure walked forward. He was tall, much taller than her. His hair was dark as midnight shadows, moving slightly in the cold wind even though there was no wind in the clearing. His eyes were deep gold, glowing faintly like predator eyes. He wore black royal armor with silver wolf symbols carved into it. He was the Northern Alpha, Kale. People feared him because he ruled not with cruelty but with absolute control. He was known to end wars quickly without mercy for traitors. Kale stopped walking about 10 steps away from her. He did not speak immediately. Instead, he studied her. Lyra felt like prey under his gaze, but she refused to lower her eyes. "You are small," Kale finally said. His voice was deep, calm, and surprisingly quiet. "Your pack sent you to die," Lyra swallowed. "I came to talk about peace." Kale tilted his head slightly, like he was listening to her heartbeat. "Your scent carries betrayal," he said. "You are afraid of your own people, not of me." Lyra did not answer, because he was right. Kale walked closer slowly, not threatening, not friendly, just steady like a storm moving across ocean water. "Why should I believe you want peace?" he asked. Lyra took a deep breath. "Because I am tired of war," she said honestly. "Because people die for land that does not belong to anyone. Because I know my pack is weak. But weakness does not mean we deserve to disappear." Kale studied her face. He noticed she was not trying to flatter him. She was not begging for mercy. She was simply speaking truth. That interested him more than he expected. "You are not here as diplomat," he said quietly. "You are here as sacrifice." Lyra's heart stopped for a second. "How did you—" "I can smell fear," Kale said. "But I can also smell acceptance." He stopped walking when he was only a few steps away from her. The wind suddenly stopped moving. Even her magic felt frozen. Kale reached out and gently grabbed her wrist. Not roughly, not painfully. Just firmly enough that she could not pull away. Lyra's heart started beating faster. In wolf culture, touching a shifter's wrist like this was a sign of dominance. Kale's golden eyes glowed slightly brighter. "You were sent here to die," he said. "And yet you are still standing straight." Lyra forced herself to speak. "If you want to kill me, then do it quickly." Kale was silent for a long moment. Then he did something that shocked her. He brought her wrist closer and bit her skin, not to tear flesh but to release magic energy. A soft, burning sensation spread through her body. Silver light flashed briefly between them. Lyra gasped. The pain was strange, not painful like injury. More like fire turning into warmth. She realized what he had done. He had marked her. In wolf culture, marking was stronger than killing. It meant ownership, protection, political alliance, or emotional bond magic. Lyra stepped back immediately, shocked. "What did you do?" she whispered. Kale looked at her with unreadable expression. "I did not mark you to kill you," he said. "I marked you because your pack is planning to use you to awaken something buried in your bloodline." Lyra felt fear crawling through her chest. "What something?" Kale turned toward the dark forest beyond the ruins. "An ancient curse," he said. "A curse that could destroy both our kingdoms if awakened fully." Lyra felt dizziness wash over her. She touched the mark on her wrist. It was glowing faintly like moonlight trapped under skin. "What happens to me now?" she asked. Kale looked back at her. "You will come with me," he said calmly. "Not as prisoner, not as enemy, but you are not free either." Lyra felt confusion, fear, and something she did not want to name. "Why not kill me?" she asked quietly. Kale stepped closer again. Because he was so close now, she could hear his breathing. "Because," he said slowly, "I want to see if you're strong enough to survive what your own people are planning for you." Then he turned and started walking toward the northern territory. Lyra stood there for a long moment. She could run away. She could try to escape. But the mark on her wrist pulsed softly, like a heartbeat she did not recognize. Finally, she followed him into the darkness of the northern kingdom. Behind her, the forest wind began to whisper ancient warnings. And far away, in the mountain pack village, Elder Thane watched the dark horizon and whispered, "The Moon Queen bloodline is waking sooner than expected." The journey to the northern kingdom was silent. Snow-covered mountains stood like sleeping giants under the gray sky. Cold wind moved through sharp cliffs and dark forests. The world felt old, like it had seen too many wars and too many broken promises. Lyra walked beside Kale without speaking. She did not know if she was a prisoner or a guest. Kale had not tied her hands. He had not threatened her, but he had also not allowed her to return to her pack. Instead, he walked beside her like a silent guardian and a ruler who expected obedience without needing to ask for it. The mark on her wrist continued to glow faintly. Sometimes it felt warm. Sometimes it felt like a heartbeat that was not her own. Lyra kept looking at Kale secretly. He was different from the cruel stories she had heard. Northern Alpha Kings were usually described as monsters, but Kale moved with calm confidence. He did not waste words. When he spoke, it was always meaningful. After several hours of walking, they reached the Northern Kingdom capital. The city was built into black mountains. Giant stone walls surrounded tall towers made of dark silver metal. Wolves with glowing eyes stood as guards on high towers. Magic shields shimmered faintly in the air like frozen light. Lyra felt nervous. This was enemy land, but nobody attacked her. Instead, wolves and warriors watched her quietly as if waiting for Kale's command before deciding how to react. Kale spoke without looking at her. "Do not show fear," he said. "Fear invites politics and cruelty in my court." Lyra nodded slowly. They entered the royal castle. The castle interior was dark but beautiful. Silver torches burned with blue magical fire that gave soft light but no warmth. Ancient wolf symbols were carved into black marble floors. Lyra felt many magical presences inside the castle. Old magic, powerful magic. Some of it felt sad, some felt angry, some felt like they were watching her closely. Kale stopped walking in front of large double doors made of dark iron and wolf bone decorations. "This is your room," he said. Lyra was surprised. "You are giving me a room." "You are not a prisoner," Kale said simply, "but you are not free to leave the kingdom borders." He opened the doors. Inside was a large room decorated with silver moon patterns on dark blue walls. There was a large bed with soft dark blankets. A window showed the snowy mountains outside. Lyra felt emotional. Her own pack had small sleeping caves. This was luxury compared to her old life, but luxury did not erase betrayal. Kale watched her carefully. "You can train in the courtyard tomorrow," he said. "You can study magic archives if you want." "Why are you doing this?" Lyra asked softly. Kale did not answer immediately. Instead, he stepped closer to her, not dangerously, just close enough that she could feel his presence like a wall of quiet power. "You were not lying when you said you were tired of war," he said. "People who are honest about their weakness are usually stronger than kings who hide behind power." Lyra felt her chest tight. She did not understand why his words made her feel both comforted and confused. Kale turned to leave, then he stopped at the door. "One more thing," he said. Lyra looked at him. "The bond mark will begin linking our emotions through dreams," he said. "Do not fight it, it will help control your magic." Then he left. Lyra sat on the bed slowly. She felt exhausted, not physically, emotionally. That night she could not sleep. The castle was quiet but not completely silent. She could hear distant footsteps of guards. Wind moved through mountain tunnels like breathing spirits. Lyra stood near the window and looked at the moon. It was full. Her magic reacted immediately. Silver wind gathered softly around her fingers. She closed her eyes and tried to calm herself. She thought about her pack. Did they miss her, or had they already moved on? She remembered Elder Thane's face. Not cruel, just tired, like someone who had been forced to make painful decisions for survival. Suddenly, Lyra felt something pull her into sleep. Not natural sleep, magic sleep. She found herself standing in a battlefield made of black sand and shattered moonlight. The sky was red. Dead wolves lay on the ground. Broken weapons were scattered everywhere. Ancient war banners burned slowly in dark fire that did not give light. Lyra felt fear immediately. Then she saw him. Kale was standing in the battlefield, but he looked different. His eyes were glowing bright gold. His armor was cracked. Blood was on his hands, not just enemy blood. His own blood was slowly turning into dark shadows that crawled across his skin. He was holding someone in his arms. Lyra walked closer slowly. When she saw the person he was holding, her breath stopped. It was herself. Her own body looked pale and lifeless in Kale's arms. Kale was speaking softly. "I tried to protect you," he whispered to the dead version of Lyra, "but destiny is stronger than kings." Lyra tried to speak, but no sound came from her mouth. Kale looked up suddenly. Their eyes met across dream space. He spoke quietly. "You are not supposed to see this future yet," he said. Lyra felt panic. She tried to move toward him. The dream battlefield began cracking like broken glass. Kale's voice became distant. "Your pack will come for you," he said. "And they will try to use your Moon Queen blood to open Old War ruins." The dream started collapsing. "Do not trust everyone who smiles at you," Kale said, "even me." Then darkness swallowed everything. Lyra woke up breathing heavily. Her heart was beating fast. The dream felt too real. She touched her chest, then her wrist mark. It was burning slightly. Suddenly she heard knocking on her door. She stood up quickly. When she opened the door, she saw a young woman standing there. The woman had silver hair and calm blue eyes. "My name is Mara," the woman said. "I am one of the Royal Council members." Lyra felt suspicious immediately. Mara smiled gently. "You should not trust Kale completely," Mara said. "He is strong, but strength can become obsession." Lyra stayed silent. Mara continued. "The Royal Council wants you to stay here, but not everyone agrees with Kale's decisions about you." Lyra felt tension growing inside her chest. "Why are you telling me this?" she asked. Mara looked at her carefully. "Because," Mara said quietly, "you are not just a political prisoner, you are something more dangerous." Lyra felt fear. "What do you mean?" Mara leaned closer. "You are a Moon Queen descendant," she said. "Your blood can control supernatural armies buried under ancient ruins." Lyra felt dizzy. "How do you know this?" Mara smiled sadly. "Because your own pack already tried to awaken that power once before. They failed, but they will try again." Before Lyra could ask more questions, footsteps sounded in the hallway. Kale appeared. His expression was cold and controlled. "Mara," he said, "leave." Mara bowed slightly and walked away. Kale looked at Lyra. "You spoke with her," he said calmly. "Yes," Lyra said. Kale studied her face. "You should be careful," he said. "Politics is more dangerous than war." Then he turned to leave again, but Lyra spoke quickly. "I saw something in a dream," she said. Kale stopped walking. Lyra hesitated, then continued. "I saw myself dead in your arms." Silence filled the hallway. Kale did not turn around immediately. When he finally spoke, his voice was low. "Then we must make sure that future never happens." He walked away. Lyra stood there alone, feeling fear and strange emotional warmth at the same time, because even though Kale did not say romantic words, his protection felt like something deeper than love, something like destiny. Far away in the mountain pack village, Elder Thane stood before ancient glowing ruins. The ruins were awakening slowly. He whispered to the wind. "She is bonding with the enemy Alpha faster than expected." And deep underground, something ancient began to move. Something old, something hungry. The war came like a storm that nobody was ready to stop. For many weeks after Lyra arrived in the Northern Kingdom, tension between kingdoms grew stronger. Messengers moved secretly through mountain passes. Soldiers trained day and night. Old alliances began breaking like thin ice under heavy footsteps. The wind itself felt uneasy. Lyra spent her days inside the northern castle, training her magic and learning about royal politics. She was no longer treated like a prisoner, but she was not treated like a true queen either. She was something between guest, political symbol, and hidden weapon. The mark on her wrist had changed. It no longer just glowed softly. Sometimes it pulsed like a heartbeat. Sometimes it reacted to Kale's emotions. When Kale was angry, the mark felt hot. When he was calm, it felt warm and steady like sunlight on snow. Lyra was learning to control her moon magic. She practiced in the castle training grounds, a large open space surrounded by black stone walls and protective magic barriers. She learned to move wind currents with her hands. When she felt strong emotions, the wind would move faster around her like invisible wings. Kale watched her training often. He did not interrupt. He simply observed like a king studying future battle strategies. One afternoon, Lyra stopped training and turned to him. "You are watching me too much," she said softly. Kale did not deny it. "I am responsible for your safety," he said. "That sounds like protection," Lyra said. "Not freedom." Kale stayed quiet for a moment. Freedom was a complicated word in his kingdom. Power required control. Control required sacrifice. "I cannot give you full freedom," Kale said honestly, "but I can give you choice." Lyra felt something inside her chest tighten. Choice was better than ownership. Meanwhile, in the mountain pack lands, rebellion was growing. Elder Thane was not pleased with the situation. He stood inside the pack's ancient stone hall, looking at glowing war maps floating in the air. Beside him stood younger warriors who wanted revenge. "She is staying with the enemy Alpha," one warrior said angrily. "She has betrayed us." Thane shook his head slowly. "She has not betrayed us," he said. "We betrayed her first." The hall became silent. Thane continued speaking. "The Moon Queen bloodline must be awakened," he said quietly. "If Kale keeps her marked, her magic will grow stronger, strong enough to open ancient war ruins buried under our mountains." "What does that mean?" a young warrior asked. "It means," Thane said, "Lyra may become the key to winning wars or ending all kingdoms." Back in the Northern Kingdom, political danger was growing inside the royal palace. Not everyone trusted Kale's decision to protect Lyra. The royal council feared that Kale was becoming emotionally connected to her. In their world, emotional connection was weakness for kings. One night, Lyra was walking through palace gardens when she felt strange energy in the air. The garden was beautiful. White moon flowers grew around silver fountains. Magical insects glowed softly like small stars moving through dark leaves. But something felt wrong. Lyra stopped walking. "Someone is watching me," she whispered. Then she heard footsteps behind her. She turned around quickly. 3 masked warriors stood behind her. Their armor had council symbols on it. "You should come with us quietly," one of them said. Lyra felt fear, but she stood straight. "Why?" "The royal council wants to test your magic," the warrior said. Lyra knew this was not official royal law. This was political kidnapping. She tried to run, but magical chains suddenly formed around her ankles. She fell to the ground. Her magic reacted immediately. Wind energy exploded around her, breaking part of the chains. But she was still weak from training. The warriors moved closer. Then suddenly, the air became heavy with dangerous power. Kale appeared from shadows like a storm arriving in silence. His golden eyes were glowing with cold anger. "Remove your weapons," he said quietly. The warriors immediately stepped back. Kale was not shouting. He was not threatening. But his presence alone felt like standing near a mountain during earthquake warning. "You are breaking royal law," Kale said. One warrior spoke nervously. "The council wants her tested. They will test her with my permission," Kale interrupted coldly. The warriors left quickly. Kale walked toward Lyra and helped her stand. "You are not ready to fight political battles yet," he said. Lyra looked at him. "I am not weak," she said. "I know," Kale said, "but you are more important than pride." Lyra felt emotional warmth and frustration at the same time. Why did he care so much? She wanted to ask him. But instead she asked something else. "Do you ever regret marking me?" Kale went completely silent. For a long time he did not answer. Then he said softly, "Yes, sometimes." Lyra felt her chest tighten painfully. But Kale continued, "I regret the future where I do not mark you even more." Their eyes met. Something unspoken passed between them, not just romance, something deeper, like 2 souls trying to survive destiny together. The war officially began 2 weeks later. Northern Kingdom armies faced Lyra's former pack forces near ancient mountain valleys. Snow turned red with battle magic explosions. Wolf warriors fought under storm clouds. Magic arrows flew through the sky like burning stars. Kale led northern forces. Lyra stood beside him. She was terrified, but she refused to hide behind him. "I will fight too," she said. Kale looked at her for a moment. Then he nodded. Lyra unleashed her moon magic. Silver windstorms exploded across battlefield, pushing enemy warriors backward. Her magic was stronger than she expected. It reacted to her emotions, and she was feeling anger, sadness, and betrayal at the same time. Suddenly, she saw her own pack warriors on the battlefield. Some of them looked surprised to see her alive. Others looked angry. Elder Thane appeared on the battlefield riding a giant wolf spirit beast. Lyra felt emotional pain. "Lyra," Thane shouted, "you must come home, your bloodline is waking." "I cannot," Lyra shouted back. "You are not protecting them," Thane shouted. "You are becoming the weapon they feared you would become." The words hurt deeply. Lyra's magic began becoming unstable. Storm winds grew stronger. Lightning started forming in the sky. Kale noticed immediately. He moved toward her. "Lyra," he said firmly, "focus on me. Do not listen to them." Lyra looked at him. She felt torn between two worlds. Her pack was her past. Kale was becoming her future, but choosing one meant hurting the other. Suddenly, enemy council forces activated ancient magic weapons. They targeted Lyra directly. Kale saw it immediately. He moved in front of her without thinking. The magical weapon struck him directly in the chest. Kale fell to one knee. Lyra screamed his name. Her moon magic exploded violently across battlefield, destroying enemy weapons and forcing armies to retreat. She knelt beside Kale. He was badly injured. Blood was mixing with dark shadow magic from his cursed bloodline. "Why did you protect me?" she asked, crying. Kale smiled weakly. "Because," he said, "I choose you over war." Lyra felt something inside her heart break and heal at the same time. She realized she was falling in love with him, but destiny was still watching. And somewhere deep underground, ancient ruins were finally waking up. Back in the mountain packlands, Elder Thane whispered to the ancient ruins, "She is becoming too emotionally connected." The ruins glowed with dark blue magic. Something inside them responded. Like something ancient was preparing to rise again. The war was not the end of the story. It was only the beginning of something older than kingdoms, older than kings and queens, older than love and hatred. The battlefield was silent after the war ended. Snow fell slowly over broken weapons, burned war banners, and cracked magical shields. The wind carried the smell of blood, smoke, and old magic that was slowly waking from long sleep. Kale was lying in the Northern Kingdom healing chamber inside the castle. Lyra sat beside him. Her eyes were tired and red from crying. Her hands were holding his hand tightly, as if she was afraid he would disappear if she let go. Kale was still alive, but barely. The magical weapon that hit him during the war had not just injured his body. It had attacked the curse inside his bloodline. The curse was slowly spreading through his magic veins like dark shadows crawling under his skin. Lyra could feel his pain through the bond mark. It felt like fire and ice together inside her chest. She whispered softly, "Do not leave me." Kale opened his eyes slowly. "You are still here," he said weakly. "I will stay," Lyra said immediately. Kale smiled slightly. It was a tired, soft smile. "You should go," he said. "The Royal Council will blame me for protecting you. They will try to remove me from power." Lyra shook her head. "I do not care about politics," she said. "I care about you." Those words made Kale close his eyes for a moment. Love was dangerous in their world. Kings were taught to rule with distance. Queens were taught to rule with patience. But love made people weak or stronger, depending on how they used it. Outside the castle, something ancient was happening. Deep under the mountain valleys, old war ruins were glowing with dark blue light. Elder Thane stood before the ruins alone. The mountain pack warriors were waiting behind him, afraid to move forward. "Is it starting?" one warrior asked quietly. "Yes," Thane said. "The Moon Queen bloodline is fully awakening." The ruins started opening slowly. Stone doors cracked open. Ancient symbols glowed brighter and brighter. Wind moved from underground tunnels like breathing lungs. Something inside the earth was waking up, something that had been sealed for centuries. The Moon Queen civilization had once ruled supernatural armies long ago, but they were destroyed during ancient wars between supernatural kingdoms and human rulers who feared their power. Now the power was returning, and Lyra was the key. Inside the castle, Lyra suddenly felt unbearable pain. She fell to her knees. Her moon magic burst out of control. Silver light exploded around her body like storm lightning. The windows of the healing chamber shattered from magical pressure. Kale tried to stand up. "Lyra," he called weakly. She was crying. "I cannot control it," she said. "It is too strong." Kale forced himself to stand even though he was injured. He walked toward her slowly. "Listen to my voice," he said firmly. Lyra was shaking. "The voices inside my blood are waking," she said. "They want me to open the ancient ruins. They want me to become their queen weapon." Kale reached her and held her shoulders. "You are not a weapon," he said. Lyra looked at him with tears in her eyes. "What if I become a monster?" she asked. Kale touched her forehead gently. "Then I will remind you who you were before power," he said. Those words broke something inside Lyra emotionally. She remembered her childhood in the mountain pack, running through cold forests, laughing with other young wolves, feeling wind magic playing around her like friendly spirits. She was not born to destroy. She was born to protect life. Suddenly, royal alarms sounded through the castle. Warriors rushed into the halls. "Enemy forces are attacking again," a guard shouted. "The mountain pack has allied with dark supernatural forces." Lyra froze. "Thane would never do that," she said. Kale looked at her. "Something is controlling them," he said quietly. He understood immediately. The ancient ruins were not just awakening. They were influencing living minds through old curse magic. Lyra stood up. "I must stop it," she said. "You can barely control your magic," Kale said. "I can," Lyra said firmly, "because I am not fighting for kingdoms. I am fighting for life." Kale looked at her with pride and fear at the same time. Then he nodded. "Then I will fight beside you." They traveled together toward the mountain ruins. The battlefield was chaotic again. Mountain pack warriors were fighting Northern Kingdom soldiers. But their eyes looked empty, like they were controlled by something unseen. Lyra felt deep sadness. She did not want to fight her own people. She raised her hand slowly. "I do not want to hurt you," she whispered to the wind. Then she released moon magic gently instead of violently. Silver wind spread across battlefield like calming rain. The controlled warriors stopped moving. Some of them fell to their knees, confused. The supernatural control was weakening, but something bigger was coming. Elder Thane appeared from the ruins' entrance. His wolf spirit beast stood behind him. "You are too late, Lyra," Thane said sadly. "What are you doing?" Lyra asked. "I am trying to save all kingdoms," Thane said, "by awakening the Moon Queen army." "That will destroy everything," Lyra shouted. "Or create peace through power," Thane said. Kale stepped forward. "Power built on control always becomes war," he said. Thane looked at Kale. "You love her," Thane said. "Yes," Kale said simply. Thane sighed. "Then you are both already lost." Suddenly the ruins fully opened. Dark blue ghost-like warriors started rising from underground. Ancient Moon Queen spirits appeared in the sky, surrounding Lyra. Their voices spoke inside her mind. "Become our queen, lead our armies. End all wars forever." Lyra was terrified. Kale grabbed her hand tightly. "You choose your destiny," he said. Lyra cried. "I do not want to destroy," she said. "Then do not," Kale said. "Rewrite the curse." Lyra looked at him. Rewrite the curse. She understood. Moon Queen magic was not meant for destruction. It was meant to change energy. She raised both hands toward the sky. "I do not want war," she said loudly. "I want life. I want peace. I want kingdoms to live without fear." Her magic exploded in gentle light instead of violent storms. She was not commanding armies. She was changing the curse itself. The ghost warriors slowly turned into pure light and disappeared into the sky. The ruins began closing again. The ancient curse was breaking. Lyra collapsed from exhaustion. Kale caught her in his arms. The war was over, not by destruction, but by choice. Months later, peace returned to the kingdoms. Kale became a guardian king instead of a war ruler. Lyra lost some of her godlike magic power, but she gained control over her emotions and magic. She and Kale ruled together with balance between strength and compassion. One night, Lyra stood on castle rooftop looking at the moon. She felt magic stirring again inside her. Not dark power, new life magic, she smiled softly. Beside her, Kale stood quietly. "What are you thinking about?" he asked. Lyra looked at him. "I think our story is not finished," she said. Kale smiled. "I know," he said, "because destiny always writes new chapters." The wind moved gently around them like blessing spirits. And far in the distance, new life was being born in kingdoms that once knew only war. Because sometimes, love was the strongest magic of all.